So my name is Lisa Apolinski. I run a digital marketing agency called Three Dog Right. And when Aaron talked to me in November about doing a lecture, I asked him, what would you like me to talk on? And he said anything, which is a little dangerous. That's kind of like mini golden sushi for me. And I was struggling with what I wanted to talk about. And then I attended South by in March. And one of the sessions that I was able to sit in on was on proximity marketing. I was pretty excited to learn more about it. And then I thought about a stat that I had seen a few months earlier from InsideSales.com. And when I first saw this statistic, I actually got a little bit of heartburn from it. So the research showed that between 35 and 50% of all sales goes to the vendor that responds first. And this took out, small little things like price, quality of product, even marketing messaging. So at first I was like, holy crap, that's pretty scary. And you're probably feeling a little bit of heartburn as well. And I want you to really wrap your head around this statistic because we're going to keep coming back to this. I can have kind of a crappy, overpriced product with maybe some marginal marketing, maybe some mediocre marketing. And if by some grace of God I get there, first I have, as my Powerpuff Girls show, between a 1 in 3 and 1 in 2 chance of getting that business. Okay, I really want you to think about that, and we're going to come back to that as we go through proximity marketing, because this technology that's coming will help to level that playing field a little bit. So what is proximity marketing? Proximity is nearness in terms of space, time, and relationship. So when we're talking about proximity marketing, we're looking at engaging with a prospect who is near to us in terms of distance. So it is definitely a location-based type of an engagement. Now, it can depend on the type of industry, and not every industry will be able to leverage proximity marketing, but it's still something you should be aware of. It could be an engagement for a restaurant, for a store, for a conference. It will depend on the industry and what you're trying to accomplish, but your ultimate goal, if someone is near to you, is to bring them to you, yeah? So we want people to actually come to us and have that real-time engagement. If we're able to interact with them in a physical way, using a virtual type of a marketing campaign, we can actually help promote and catch them with that inbound marketing lead, hopefully at their near zero point of decision making. So if they're thinking about purchasing something, if they're starting to collect data, and they happen to be in the vicinity and it's opportunity based, we'll actually be able to catch them and be able to have that engagement. Now, there are already technologies out there that are in the space right now that aren't widely adopted. Bluetooth Low Energy, near field communication, RFID. These are technologies we're already familiar with, but there's not a huge adoption rate across the board for a couple of reasons. Number one, some of them are very segmented. Like NFC, we know we use it for Google Pay, so it's only applicable to an iPhone. RFID, the technology is pretty basic. You'd have a badge, you walk over, let's say, a mat, and you get checked in for an event. So it's been very limited in the adoption. What really made me stand up and take notice at South by is the panel that I was listening to had members from Qualcomm, and they're introducing a new type of technology, hopefully that will be coming out in about 2018, that I believe will help really change the face of how we're doing proximity marketing. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me go back. There we go. So it's called LTE Direct. And there are 3 components of LTE Direct that I believe will help make it universally adopted. First of all is they are planning on having it available on all devices and all tablets. Just like you have Bluetooth now on your phone and you don't really think about it, as new technology and new phones come out, new devices come out in 2018, they will automatically have this software embedded on the phone, on the tablet, and I believe on your laptop as well. Okay, so everyone will have it. The second item, which is vitally important in my mind, is my phone or my tablet becomes your beacon. I will send out a communication, and I will be able to engage with other devices that have this technology, and I don't have to rely on a Wi-Fi network in order to do it. To me, that's huge. I can be in a room where there's no Wi-Fi and still be able to engage with others with proximity marketing. And since I'm not using Wi-Fi, my battery drain becomes that much less. And that's a huge complaint by cell phone users when they're trying to adapt and use new technology. It drains my battery. That makes me crazy. I'm not going to use it. So these three things will definitely help to keep that adoption rate pretty high. So as we said, proximity marketing is about that location and getting in front of that person first, right? We want to grab that sale. This would certainly have a new definition to responding first, won't it? If there's a way where I can capture someone at that near zero point of decision, they're going by, I can bring them to me and actually have that face-to-face engagement. And because of that, and I think that's why that stat is so high, that you have a 1 in 3 and 1 in 2 chance of converting the sale, is you're actually influencing what they're looking for in terms of the product or service. If you're the first one that they talk to, and they're still kind of deciding what they want to do, if you can help manage their expectation, and of course position your company and your products and services into their sweet spot, you're going to have a much better chance of converting that lead. But because this technology will probably be adopted by quite a few people, I would expect myself and 50 of my closest competitors to be in the same space. So you're going to have a lot more competition in the mix. And because of that, I have generic messaging won't be able to compete, but I also believe that misaligned messaging will not be able to compete in this space. And I'm actually going to go through an example so we can kind of wrap our heads around that and see how that would work. Okay, so let's do an example. I am in North Carolina. I'm in Charlotte. Charlotte is well known for furniture sales. I have a couple hours to kill. I'm meeting somebody, and I personally am really, really in need of a new bed frame. I have the proximity marketing. I have the LT Direct. What the hell? I'm going to send out a message to see what's out there. Oh, this does not want to stay there. There we go. So I send out a message, and I say, I'm from out of town. I'm in the market for a bed frame. Can anyone help me out? And let's say within a minute, I get 30 responses, which is pretty good. Am I going to actually sit there and research every single company that's sent a message to me? No. Am I going to go onto their website and look at every single company? Absolutely not. I'm going to do a first quick line of elimination, and it's going to be based on the relevancy of the message. So if I get 25 messages that either are very generic and say, hey, we have a wide selection of products, or, and I've seen this already happening with marketing automation, they pick up on the word bed, and they say, we're having a mattress sale. What am I going to do? Delete, 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 right? I'm going to get rid of the ones that really don't have much relevancy to my action right there, and I'm going to whittle it down to a smaller subset. So let's say I get it down to 5. The next thing that I'm going to look for is that added incentive. So if 3 of the 5 realize that I'm from out of town and put in an additional quick sentence saying, we have a standard flat rate to ship to anywhere in the United States, okay, that's an added incentive. I'm certainly going to be looking at that 3 subset. So a lot of marketers will stop there, right? They have the relevancy, they have a little bit of added incentive, but how do you get all the way to the top so you're the first one that they interact with? There has to be a call to action, and for proximity marketing, especially since you're trying to get them to your location, that is a vital part of your messaging. So if I have one that says, if you check into my store in the next 15 minutes, I'll give you a 10% discount, which really isn't that much, right? But it's a call to action, there's something in it for me, and I'd be able to get over there, and that's going to be the first one that I'm going to interact with. So in that scenario, with the message that I just talked about, did I talk about price at all? No. Did I talk about quality of product? But what I did talk about is the messaging. So I'm focusing with proximity marketing on one thing that I can absolutely control, which is my targeting messaging to my prospects. So, as we start to look at this technology, as it starts to come into play, obviously, I'm not going to be able to really affect the quality of the product. I'm probably not even going to be able to affect what the pricing is. But if I'm trying to get in front of somebody as quickly as possible so that I have a chance to convert that sale, proximity marketing with that type of message is definitely going to give me back some of that power to be able to do it. And I don't think that that stat that we talked about at the beginning is going to change that much, because behavior is behavior. People purchase a certain way, and I think that's going to stay that way. However, by using the proximity marketing and using it effectively, I think you're going to see several companies who can do this and do it well start to really move forward, start to take over some of the marketplace, and start to capture some of that location-based marketing and people that are going by. And I think that this will really help us take some of that power back, and that stat is not nearly as scary. Thank you.